Let's start with a simple truth that most success stories try to hide. Before there was acceptance, there was rejection. And not the loud, dramatic kind, the dangerous kind, the quiet, polite kind that slowly drains hope. This is the real beginning of Tomorrow X Together's story in Japan. Not on a stage, but in the invisible courtroom of public opinion. When TXT announced they were coming to Japan in 2020, many in the country didn't see a talented new group. They saw a business plan. Japan has one of the biggest music markets in the world, and for decades, K-pop companies have tried to break into it. Some groups found short-term fame, but many faded away, seen as just passing through to make money. So when TXT arrived, a large part of the Japanese music world and its fans were already tired and suspicious. They thought, here comes another one. Online, on Japanese message boards, people dismissed TXT as a factory-made product from the HYBE company, calling them a copy-paste group with no real reason to be there except for profit. This was their first and biggest hurdle. They had to fight the idea that they were just another foreign group trying to take from Japan, not give to it. Every step they took from that moment on was watched under a microscope, searching for a reason to prove this belief right. Their first Japanese single, Magic Hour, was supposed to be a friendly hello. Instead, it turned into a test they couldn't win. Fans, of course, loved it, but critics and casual listeners picked it apart like a school exam. People shared clips online focusing not on the melody, but on tiny mistakes in their Japanese pronunciation. The conversation wasn't, do we like this song? It was, is this song even really for us? Because the tracks were Japanese versions of their existing Korean songs, many called it a lazy translation job, a cheap shortcut. They were accused of not putting in the real work to make original music for Japan. This set up a trap that would haunt them for years. If they only released translated songs, they were seen as lazy. But when they later made original Japanese songs, people would question if those were truly authentic or just fakes made in a boardroom. It was a no-win situation from the start. Industry experts added fuel to the fire, telling reporters off the record that TXT would likely follow the same path as other K-pop acts, a flash of attention, then disappearance. Before they could even dream of success, TXT had to fight the prediction of their own failure. The conflict went from quiet doubt to loud public anger with their first big anime song. In 2021, TXT were chosen to sing Force, the opening theme for a popular anime called World Trigger. In Japan, anime music is a big deal. It's a part of people's childhoods and identities. For a foreign group to be given this spot is a huge honor, but it also paints a target on their back. A loud group of the anime's hardcore fans were furious. They flooded social media, saying the anime producers had sold out by choosing a K-pop group. They claimed TXT could never understand the spirit of the story, that only a Japanese rock band should have this honor. Private chat logs leaked, showing some fans planning to sabotage the song's online ratings. This wasn't about whether Force was a good song. This was about territory. These fans saw anime as Japanese-only cultural space, and TXT were seen as invaders. For weeks, any news about the song was buried under this wave of resentment. It was a brutal lesson. In Japan, even being chosen for a great opportunity could make you enemies. At the exact same time, a different kind of worry was spreading among TXT's own fans. As the group pushed harder, constantly flying between Korea and Japan, releasing new music, preparing for tours, signs of exhaustion became impossible to ignore. During their 2022 Japanese tour, fans in the audience and those watching fan cams online started to panic. They saw members like Subin looking pale and distant, or Hwang Kai struggling to keep his energy up. The conversation online changed from celebration to concern. Hashtags demanding the company let them rest started trending. Fans became detectives, comparing old and new photos to point out weight loss, analyzing every glance for signs of pain. The darkest rumors spread on anonymous blogs, stories of panic attacks and secret trips to the hospital. The company HYBE said nothing. This silence made fans angrier. Now the controversy wasn't about Japan accepting TXT, but about the price TXT was paying to be accepted. Their famous hard work and earnest attitude, called majime in Japanese, started to look less like a virtue and more like a symptom of a broken system. People began to wonder, were they connecting with Japan out of real love or because a powerful company was pushing them to the brink? Just when it seemed like they were finally winning, with their 2023 Japanese album Sweet breaking records, a new criticism emerged. Now, some music critics and trendy listeners said TXT's Japanese music had become too safe. They argued that to please the Japanese market, TXT had lost their creative edge. Their Korean music was known for being bold and trying new sounds, but their Japanese songs, these critics said, were all similar heartfelt ballads and mid-tempo tracks. Rumors circulated that HYBE's Japanese team was too controlling, forcing the group to stick to a formula that worked, afraid to take risks. Online, people started calling their Japanese Japanese songs watered-down versions of their true artistry. This was perhaps the most hurtful criticism yet, because it attacked their identity as artists. It suggested that to keep Japan's love, they had to lock away part of their creativity. They were trapped. If they changed their sound, they might lose their Japanese fans. If they didn't change, they'd be called boring and inauthentic. All these battles led to one final confusing controversy about who TXT really were. By 2024, with hits like Chikai, TXT were stars in Japan. But this success created a strange new problem. In Korea, some media and fans started asking a weird question. Was TXT becoming too Japanese? Reports and gossip hinted at tension behind the scenes, that the teams managing their Korean and Japanese careers were fighting over time and resources. This pulled TXT into a cultural tug-of-war. A few Korean netizens whispered that the group was neglecting their home country. At the same time, a small fringe in Japan might side-eye their continued work in Korea as not being fully committed to Japan. After years of trying to belong, they were now caught in the middle, forced to defend where they belonged most. In Japan, no matter how loved, they would always be Korean artists. In Korea, their deep bond with Japan now made some see them as slightly distant. It was the ultimate paradox. Their 2025 album Starkist was released under this heavy, complicated history. There was no big scandal to fight that year, just the weight of everything that came before. The music responded not with a shout, but with a calm, mature confidence. The real controversy today isn't about the past, it's about the future. Can a relationship built under so much pressure and scrutiny last? What is the true cost of being the earnest idols who never slip up? TXT's story in Japan is not a fairy tale. It's a case study in perseverance. It's about fighting for a seat at a table where many wished you hadn't even entered the room, and then, once you're seated, fighting to prove you deserve to stay. The war was never seen on camera, but it was fought in every comment section, every critical review, every worried fans post, and in the silent exhaustion behind their smiles. That is the unseen war they are still fighting today.